Respond, rehabilitate, research, and release. That is the sole purpose of this facility in Kapaʻau Kohala. The Hawaii Wildlife Center is the only statewide, state-of-the-art conservation organization exclusively for and about native wildlife. Their focus is disaster response, responder training, contingency planning, and hands-on wildlife rehabilitation.
Here we are, the extinction capital of the world, and we have the majority of the endangered species in the U.S. The building of the Hawaii Wildlife Center was to respond to those native birds and the Hawaiian bat.
Birds and the Hawaiian bat. Thus its name, Hawaii Wildlife Center, and not the Hawaii Bird Center. They receive patients from the entire Hawaiian archipelago, answering 500 calls annually.
You know, we can deal with a variety of illnesses and injuries. Many are human impact causes, a run-in with a car, or impact with buildings. Barbed wire fences. We just recently had a pueo that got entangled on a barbed wire. Bats have been entangled on barbed wire, and we are able to give it a second chance.
Full, complete care and rehab is at the core of what they do.
We have about 5 varieties of birds that come to us. Seabirds, shorebirds, waterbirds, bird of prey, and forest birds. And then the Hawaiian bat. So that's a variety of diets that we have to, and nutritional levels we have to accomplish. And what we found with seabirds is that when you freeze fish and thaw it, that process of freezing and thawing will degrade some of the nutrients in a whole fish. And so the vitamin that they get is specific for seabird eaters that are being fed frozen fish. Our bird of prey have a different requirement and a different vitamin source that's specifically for bird of prey, hawks and owls. So you've put in that effort to make sure that the injury is fixed, and you need to make sure the bird's in perfect condition to continue on normally and not be disabled in any way that it's not able to adapt. They don't see us as friends, they see us as potential predators. So the entire time they're in captivity, they're under stress. So our job is to move them through efficiently, keep their stress as low as possible by eliminating as much contact with them. So we have cameras on them, and then we give them a lot of free time where they don't see us, they don't hear us, in order to lower that stress level.
The center sits on 2 acres and operates 7 days a week.
So this whole outdoor area is our recovery yard. It's kind of the last step in the rehab process. And the whole area is predator proof, so it's got this nice fence too. To my right here is the forest bird aviary. These blue pools here are for our seabirds. They spend a lot of time laying down on their keel, which could cause problems if they're inside for too long. So if they're nice and healthy and stable, we bring them out onto these pools and they spend the day out on the water, which is replicates what they would do in the wild. In the background here you can see this is our main clinic. So the hospital is in there, so all of our intensive care patients. To the right here is our seabird aviary. They spend time in here. It's got its own pool. Yes. So this one here in the middle with the white door, that's our waterbird aviary. So it houses things like the state bird, the nene. Right now we've got 3 white terns out there right now getting used to the weather outside. And lastly we've got this big one here. It's our Raptor Aviary, so it's for the hawks and the pueo. And you'll see it's got 4 smaller rooms right outside of it. Those are called mews, and that's where we'd put ones that we want to be outside but to have a little bit limited flight range. And then we'll open that up and it connects right to this big one here. So it can open up and be one big giant thing if there's one bird out there working on its flight training. So this room is the isolation room. So it's where patients that are either contagious, like they might have, could be suspected of malaria or have some avian pox. They come in here because it's nice and quiet. Now we're in the lab. This is where we would analyze and run through all the diagnostics. So we would check the blood under the microscope. We would spin down some hematocrit tubes in the centrifuge. So this is where we do all the oil spill washes. We use Dawn dish soap. It's a fairly stressful room. It's kind of small, but a lot happens in here. It's kitchen here, we're prepared to do all sorts of different things. We can make fish slurry. We also have some mice that we prepare in here. We have a mealworm colony. So we've got a fridge and a freezer for the birds, and it's separate from our human fridge as well. So they're all labeled. We've got our smelts, some capelin, and some herring.
Yeah, people think, oh, you fix it and you feed it and you let it go. If you put all that effort into fixing the injury, so say a fractured wing, and then just turn around and let them go without being properly conditioned, you've doomed the bird. So we actually have to know all the natural history of the species we're working with in order to make a determination if the bird is in condition to be released, so good weight, ability to do flight, to feed itself. For us also, seabirds, for example, need to be waterproof, so their feathers need to be in perfect condition before they go out. Today we got an exciting day. We have 2 different species of birds being released. A juvenile white-tailed tropic bird. This one came from Lanai, was downed as a young bird, and no apparent injury, and so we were able to get it cleaned up. It's flying, it's waterproof, and so we're going to be taking that one to the ocean for a release. The ability for it to go out to sea easily, and if we needed to rescue it, we could paddle out and get it. The wind conditions are important for release. These are seabirds. They like a good lift off the ocean. Or pueo. They have a territory that they hunt and that they're attached to. And so those need to go back to within a few miles of where they were captured. And so today we'll be releasing a pueo within feet of where it was captured. You know, our patients are our first priority, but we also knew we wanted to share what we do with the public. The Wildlife Center has developed the public outreach areas and our exhibits to learn about what we're doing here, what patients we have in care, and what is exciting to know about our native wildlife and to get connected to them. I get excited every day. They're just amazingly fascinating beings that we just can't get enough of. And so when I get a chance to see healthy ones in the wild and know what we're doing is putting them back out there, that's a particularly good feeling, and I hope everybody gets a chance to see them in the wild. I want to make sure that other generations are going to say, yeah, we get to see those in the wild.